Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. How are you all doing? My name is Amanda Ellis and a very warm welcome to my channel. Today is the 18th of November as I record this video for you. Do you know, I feel a little bit nervous actually sitting down here today recording this, but I think I'm picking up the energy of the times. Feels as though we are in between worlds. Even though we've jumped to a new timeline, the analogy I'm being given by Archangel Metatron is that, like many things, we may have moved into new territory, new energy, a new reality, but our physical bodies are struggling to catch up. Indeed, the physical body, because it is the densest part of ourself, when you look at us from a multidimensional perspective, struggles with change, struggles with the unexpected, struggles with what it does not know. And I think that's where we are all now. So I'm going to talk about that in this video. I'm going to start with one particular card that I've shown you many times before, but I was told to get out and start with. This says, be the powerful space between opposite poles. And in many ways, it feels as though the figure's pose in the middle of that is one of, you could say, surrender. You could also say reaching up to a higher power or a higher perspective, reaching to connect to something to pull down and download into the physical body. But there she stands, there you stand, there we stand as a species, trying to keep the balance in an increasingly divided world. Yes, I am clutching a crystal as well. This has been out on my balcony all night. I've had this in my possession for quite some time. I don't think I've actually shown it to you for a while. Those of you who are crystal aficionados will recognize it as being cathedral quartz. This crystal, to me, symbolizes community. It symbolises particularly the community that I've built up here on YouTube and across social media since 2007, something like that, I think is when I started, 2012 here on YouTube. And yeah, it seems to represent the whole, the collective, where we are right now. And it's a great crystal for these times, actually. Just looking at the meaning of cathedral quartz, it also says here that it helps provide humanity with knowledge for spiritual evolution. And we are in times of evolution, and evolution is messy. It's not a straightforward line of progress. But it is where we are at. Definitely unknown territory right now. And this is true for all of us, wherever we live right now in our world. Gut feel, because more than anything, I am clairsentient. And what that means is I feel things very, very deeply, particularly within my body. So I have a knowingness and I feel things, and timelines are one of these things that I can feel within me. Underlying the maybe fear that is there, which is just a human norm when we go through change, underlying the fear of the unknown and the uncertainty, there is definitely an energy of hope that is rising very strongly. I really feel that energy of hope. But it definitely feels as though it is the last stand, or one of the last stands, for some very difficult tricky weeds. That's what I'm being shown them as. Weeds within the sea. Trying to drag us back down into the depths. Now, the depths are linked into the old ways. Come back, come back. Now, I'm recording this literally in the last couple of days of Pluto in Capricorn. So these weeds that are trying to drag us back, keep us trapped in that old energy, are very real. They are both physically real and also energetically real. But the light is on the horizon. We're moving into Pluto in Aquarius, which is about expect the unexpected. It's not going to go the way that you think it's going to go. And back to this card that we start with, I think this is very relevant because the two sides, and this can be about anything in life, okay? Everyone has an opinion on pretty much everything. And there will be two sides to any argument in these times that we're in. That is duality. That is the planet upon which we live. But both sides are clinging on very, very tight to what they believe to be true. And the answer, of course, absolutely lies somewhere in the middle. This fuzzy grey area that isn't at all comfortable to be in. But that is the creation point. That is where we're heading. It's also what we're asked to be at this time. So I'm going to pull some cards. I'm going to see what messages come through in this session. But more than anything, as I'm recording today, I'm hearing we are in between times. Yes, we've jumped to a new timeline, but as I've said, the mind and the body hasn't quite caught up yet. That's why I'm calling it in between times. It's as though we've landed in a new energy, a new paradigm, and we don't quite know how to behave. What isn't going to work any longer is being on the sidelines, that's one thing, but also hanging on to old default positions of old. They are going to become increasingly redundant and start to crumble. This thing also about not being able to stand on the sidelines. The sidelines are getting blurry. Now, I don't want to do anything too controversial in this video. I'm a little bit tired. There's a lot going on in my own life. But I did want to come on for the sake of community and continuity as well. But the sidelines analogy, I'll give you an example of it. Last night, I wanted to put up a post on Facebook and Instagram in particular. I had written it out. It was in relation to the 3 little girls that were killed in Southport. And if you are on X, you will know what is circulating with regards to what potentially, allegedly, is being covered up. Could it bring the government down? If the allegations are true, yes. I wanted to say something. And normally I would have done. And tomorrow I might well. And I suppose today I am in some way. Although I'm not saying it in quite the way I'd like to, because the rules of the game are not fair right now in my country. You can be arrested. You can be locked up. There are well-known journalists being taken into custody for deleted tweets that they made over a year ago. We're really in uncharted times. It's very easy to sink into fear. I wasn't really in fear last night because I didn't post it. This is the whole point. I didn't post what I wanted to post. It was more just that we're in a game now where we have to choose our timing well. We have to know how to play the game. The analogy Metatron's showing me is of a game of something like football, for example, or soccer, where you score a goal, but it comes in the most unexpected way. No one has seen the striker creeping up along the side or positioning themselves just where they need to be to get the ball into the back of the net at the most unexpected time in an unusual way. That's where we're at. We need to know how to play the game, to not fall into the traps that are being set. Oh, you're saying that, are you? You've got that size following. Right, let's have a knock on your door in the middle of the night. No, we're not going to fall into the traps. We need to know how to play the game. But we can't just be on the sidelines. If we see something that we know is not right within our very soul and our essence, particularly those of us that are old souls, and I move this into very wide territory here, also with regards to racism on our street, anti-Semitism on our street, for example, we shouldn't be turning a blind eye to that. We can't just be on the sidelines, but we need to know how to play the game. We need to know how to be this powerful force between opposite poles. It's very tricky energy right now. There are many characters wanting to take us down. But look what's on the bottom of this deck. I am going to shuffle this deck because I was told to start with it. It's an Aboriginal, what is it called? The Aboriginal Dreamtime Oracle by Mel Brown. It's usually one I only use when I'm reading on Australia, because I think an Australian follower gave it to me. But today it was like, no, you need to start with this. So in addition to be the powerful space between two opposing poles, we've also got rebirth. So I'm going to read what that says, but then I'm also going to shuffle again. But we have what looks like a moth. Moths are attracted to the flame, are they not? Let's see what it says anyway for the rebirth card. Okay. Here we go. It's time for you to stretch your wings. You like the comfort of what you know, and change can be a challenge for you. But sometimes that can be used as an excuse never to take a chance. It's time to leave the comfort of your nest and make a move. The benefits of the change that you are contemplating outweigh the challenge, so just make the move. I think that is both collective in terms of what I was just saying about you can't just be on the sidelines. We are in the game whether we like it or not. But also it's in your individual lives as well, your personal lives. So the card says, the caterpillar's first memories are being enveloped in a cocoon of warmth and safety. It spends its days lazily drifting from sleep to consciousness, knowing that it is safe and sheltered in its world. One day, the caterpillar wakes, feeling a little different, and realizes that wings are growing on its back. At first, the caterpillar is not concerned, but as the days go by, the wings slowly grow larger, making his home much smaller and more uncomfortable as each hour passes. This scares the caterpillar, as he is unsure of what will happen if he grows out of his cocoon. And suddenly, his cocoon bursts open and exposes him to a whole new world. At first, he is afraid, but then realizes that as his beautiful wings were stretched, he would be able to fly and see the world. The world was a scary place, full of danger, but as he could no longer fit inside his cocoon, he would have to take the chances and live his life exploring the world in front of him. How pertinent is that card? How perfectly and beautifully does it fit with what I've said before it? It's exactly where we are right now, in between worlds. The cocoon that we've been in is now uncomfortable. Most of us have burst out of it and are standing on the pitch thinking, oh my God, I've got to play the game, have I? It looks tricky. It looks dangerous. It looks like there are all these players over there that want to take me down. But what we are failing to appreciate and bring forward is the number of butterflies that are emerging together at once that make the difference. Wow. Yeah, absolutely. And I love that. It's having to take the chance and live life, exploring the world as it is now in front of him. I think there is a natural hesitancy when we have big change and big jumps in timelines to want to go back to the safety of the past, to the way things were. But the truth is that when you chose to incarnate, you chose and you signed up for all of it, for all the decades that you're here, for all the changes that you encounter along the way, for all the revolutions that there may be. In our lifetime, just recently, of course, we've had the digital revolution. We now have the AI revolution. There's many of us, myself included, who would quite gladly just put AI back in the box from which it came and say, no, thank you. I quite like the way it was before. But the genie is out of the bottle. It can't be put back in. It is what it is. We need to play the game to the best of our ability. Interestingly, actually talking about AI, the next video I do after this one, when I've got my energy level a bit more up, is this channel's just gone past 144,000. And I will say to you that, okay, I've got quite a lot of difficult things happening in my own life at the moment. It's not just that. I was tying it in with Twin Flame, and I haven't done a Twin Flame update for a while. And I was thinking, before we hit 144,000, I realised in retrospect, I was starting to think, I don't know if I want to do another Twin Flame video. I'm not sure. I'm feeling like I'm over it. I'm not sure I even believe in it anymore. I do, actually. Just hear me out. But the point was, I then realised that we'd gone past 144,000. And I thought, hold on a minute, isn't that linked into Twin Flame somewhere? I've got some really interesting information on it, basically. It's this resistance, it's this contraction, it's this wanting to step away from something very good that is actually on the horizon and is here and is already birthed, but you're tiptoeing in the waters, not quite ready to step into it. Over and above 144,000 being linked into Twin Flames, but it's not just 144,000 people. I'll talk more about that in my next video. 144,000 has a huge spiritual significance across many religious belief systems in our world. And it's an important milestone. It's a big frequency. And it's also a frequency that you hold, basically. So our community is now holding this. And it will go past 144,000, of course, quite soon, probably. But right now, I'm just holding that frequency of the 144,000. Back to AI. I typed in, what is the meaning of 144,000? It comes up with boom, 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 all these different things at the drop of a hat, which previously would have taken quite a while to compile or look up in different books, go to the library, etc. So of course there's a benefit that comes with AI, but like anything, like any revolution, there is both a positive and a negative side to it. Again, duality. We have to be the one that's able to appreciate the benefits of whatever we're talking about, but also have on our radar the disadvantages. Right now, where the bulk of humanity is take it away from AI maybe, but certainly with regards to politics, people are just in one of two camps, shouting at each other, nobody's listening, and I don't know about you, I am tired of that shit. I just cannot be bothered with it. It's absolutely a waste of energy. No one is changing anybody else's mind. It's much better just to have your own opinion, whatever that is, and hold true to it if it's something you really believe in, with your ears open to the other side as well and things that might be good that can come from that. And find peace within yourself, But anyway, let's not get into all of that. Let's pull another card from this deck and let's just carry on. Okay, so one more card, please, Spirit. for today, for the people watching. 18th of November, we're talking about being in between worlds or struggling with the new timeline that has come in. Even though we're hopeful, human nature, fear rising. Just some guidance, please, from this deck today for the people watching. Thank you. We have sorrow, yeah. Well, yes, I know about that at the moment. There's just a lot of sorrow right now. Look at it. Look at that. There's a whole wave of sorrow going around the world. This is to do with loss and grief. It can be literal in the sense that you have lost somebody that you love. I see the comments on my community pages. I know many of you are going through this right now. I'm going through it right now. Loss profoundly changes you, and so it should. It should shake you up. It should shatter your old world. But what it shouldn't do is stop you moving into a new world without them maybe in it with you, but charting a new path, because that's the path of the warrior. That's the path of the survivor. That's the path of somebody who also appreciates that when we look back at what has been sorrow, what creates sorrow, it's also been our greatest delight. I think that's a quote from Kyle Gibram, from memory, I can't remember. But yeah, I love that. I love that phrase. Let me just find it for you. Hold on. Yes, I found it. It says, when you are sorrowful, look again in your heart, and you shall see that in truth you are weeping for that which has been your delight. It's that bittersweetness of life, is it not? Anyway, so we have the card of sorrow, and we have the card of rebirth. I think this is also to do with the fact that this in-between world we're in right now, it's okay to just have a moment of looking back at what we are leaving behind, because this shift that we're in now is going to be, I'm hearing the shift of ages. And we will do it, and it will be okay. But right now, as I'm recording this today, definitely there is just this energy of the caterpillar that's outgrown the cocoon, that's feeling as though I just would prefer to stay where I am, thank you very much, doing what I've always been doing, in the place where I've always been, with the people that I've had always around me, knowing what I know. And the universe is saying, no, you as a species are ready for more. You signed up to this. You signed up for the journey of discovery, adventure, exploration. And I'm now being shown a space rocket, and it's as though we're on countdown to blast off. And we're sort of in the seat, strapped in, thinking, why did I sign myself up for this? Can I get out now? And you're being told, no, you can't. The doors are closed. The engines are firing. We're about to lift off. So, my friends, all we can do is, well, we can do many things, but we have to remember our strength. We have to turn to our inner self, our higher self. We have to be there for each other. We have to let go of all this distraction and noise and nonsense that is affecting so many, and be the quiet eye of the storm, as I'm always talking about. Right, let's pull a card from this deck. This could be interesting to look at. This is the Time Traveler's Oracle, I think it's called. I had pulled a card, I'm going to shuffle again, but last night we had the card of adventure on a camel's back, about to go into a desert, okay, hopefully with enough provisions to last us for whatever is going to be occurring. Also today, just thinking of the desert and the camel is reminding me of the three wise men and the star. Of course, we've got Christmas coming up on the horizon as well. Anyhow, let's just see. So this timeline that we're now in, where are we heading? And obviously this is just going to be an analogy to get us started. Because the whole point of any new adventure, any new timeline, any new journey is that you're not supposed to know it all at the start. So anybody claiming to know exactly what's about to happen on this new timeline are deluding themselves, quite frankly. Okay, all we can do is see the part of the journey that we're in now, because we manifest and we create the rest of it. Right, yeah, I got my ear is now ringing. The guides are agreeing with that. Okay, so where are we at the start of this new journey? As I said, we haven't got very far, my friends. We are in that stage of like, shall we, shan't we? We're in the rocket. We want to get out of the rocket. We're not sure this was such a good idea, even though we've manifested it. But we're being told patience, patience. We have the Buddha sitting underneath the Bodhi tree in northern India. He sat there for an awfully long time to reach enlightenment. So whatever we wish to create on this new timeline is going to require patience. I'm actually feeling that Buddha there it's the energy coming off it is obviously of a teacher, but it's you remember when you were at school and a teacher came into like a rowdy classroom and had to wait for the class to settle, even though the teacher might have told the children to be quiet, the bell has rung, the lesson has begun. Yeah, you're in school now. Remember, Earth is school. The kids are rowdy. We are the kids. The collective is the kids. And a lot of these kids, and by kids I'm just talking the human race, have a lot of ego. They think they know it all. They're strutting around the classroom, trying to lecture everybody else in terms of what the lesson should be, what should be on the agenda to learn. And this wise teacher here, this Buddha, is just waiting for the class to be still, to be present, to be ready. Because everybody that's actually in the classroom, which is those right now here on this planet, have asked to be here during this moment of extraordinary change and transformation. But there are disruptors in the classroom, definitely. There are also bullies in the classroom. There are agitators in the classroom. But there's also a front row of very enthusiastic students who want to learn from the master, who also recognise the energy of mastery within themselves, that are prepared to sit and wait. Can you see the energy here? Sit and wait, but that doesn't mean do nothing. It's the energy of, in a moment of being able to be completely still and mastering your emotions in the midst of chaos, noise, disorder. This is where the change takes place. It's this energy that creates the timeline that hopefully is for the best as well, obviously. Not the rowdy ones running around with the loudest noise and the loudest voices. Let's pull one more card. So that's lovely. We've got the energy of Buddha, patience. I also feel there's a nod there to Creator, God, whatever you want to call it. Being very, and Mother Earth as well, I have to add in. I'm hearing Mother Earth trying to be very patient with us. Now I've got the card of adventure again. Okay. Right, I'm now getting the analogy of us as a species, but remember this can also apply to you in your own individual lives. It's as though we're off, we want to have the adventure, but we're not prepared. We haven't prepared. We haven't the foundations for the new are not yet established. It's like setting off on a holiday or travelling to the other side of the world. you know, flinging a passport in your bag and a bottle of water and, you know, forgetting anything else that you might need on the journey. Yeah, the routing system is not here yet. The routing system is not here yet for this new timeline that we're in. So this adventure, this guy's only going to make it across that desert if A, the camel's got enough water within it, he or she has also got enough on them to provide for the journey. You know, they're covered for the sun, etc. It's as though the human race, now on this new timeline, there's many that are just, it's like kindergarten type energy. Right, I'm also now feeling that this has to be a period where the wise ones wait. Wait maybe for others to catch up to the frequency they need to be at. It's also linked into wisdom and knowledge. The truth is, everything is already out there in terms of what you think you're searching for. I had a comment come in on my last video, something along the lines of, "Oh, it's all very well these ascended masters saying whatever, but you know, what are we meant to do? How are we meant to do it?" And I thought, well, my channel alone, there's 700 videos, but you know, I'm just a drop in the ocean. One good thing about the internet, libraries as well, everything is available to us. It's just we're like little children that can't be still, can't be present, don't want to put the work in. And the teachers, and I'm talking here about the masters, the ascended masters that are with us trying to help us right now, are just in a period of waiting for us to settle. When are you going to be ready to truly learn? Or look at the book that's right in front of you? You know, look at the book that's right in front of you. I've said before, you know, whenever I've run, well, not just courses, but even videos, and you can be talking about a particular subject, and you'll get all these people coming in, like talking about stuff that's totally and utterly irrelevant to the topic being discussed. That's what we all do. We all do it to a degree. I do as well. But Metatron's always given me the analogy of the classroom. Would you do that in a classroom setting? You're meant to be reading Macbeth, read Macbeth. You're meant to be reading Romeo and Juliet, read Romeo and Juliet. Don't bring something out, don't bring another book into it, you know? Just concentrate on that one thing. Concentrating on that one thing, back to the Buddha. What is truly important? What is your priority right now? What is it that you're meant to be attending to? The most important thing you're meant to be attending to is yourself and your own emotions. I've said, have I not, the last couple of videos, that stuff that's been coming up for me in my own life, particularly with regard to grief and anticipatory grief, is I know that I have to feel this. There's no running away from it. There's no trying to just work myself to death so I don't have to think about it. No, I am going to slow down. I am going to witness what I'm meant to witness, feel what I'm meant to feel, process what I'm meant to process, learn what I'm meant to learn, etc. Because that has to be done before anything new can come into my life. And it's probably the same with you. So no more running away. I'm not saying you are, but there's plenty of people that are. You know, distraction is just the name of the game. The latest clickbait title, you know, to grab your attention, get your adrenaline pumping, sell the fear and the doom, all of that. Whereas, what do you think this mighty teacher is offering? Not clickbait, not fear porn, not adrenaline pumping. No, just peace and stillness. And there's also something about time, just knowing there's an energy of divine timing here as well. Okay. So I've got a couple of other decks that I had out here that I wanted to pull from. So let's do that. Let's pull another card actually from the Art Through the Soul Oracle, which is one of my Camelot decks that I use. Where have I put that? Here, right in front of me. Okay, right, let's see. So we've got this card from the deck, Be the Powerful Space Between Opposite Poles. Let's see what else for the people watching. Got a lot of energy coming in on my left side, which is the feminine, of course. And that is an energy of receiving. Receive. Now is a time to receive. That you're at the start of this journey that you feel as though you can't complete, or you're at the end of another one that you feel as though you haven't got enough energy to complete. But allow yourself to receive what you need to receive to help you and sustain you. And that comes via from spirit. It also comes from others. I also feel, and I must just say this, that I really sense right now, one thing I'm observing is that the timeline that you're on, whatever you're experiencing right now, Spirit are putting things in front of you that are so obvious, which make you realise that you're not alone in having that experience. Even though you know that everybody, for example, goes through grief and loss, it's as though it's right in front of your face. I'll give you an example. When I went on the train up to see Dad, there were a couple of things that happened. One was that a lady got onto the train with huge bags. She looked a bit... I was going to say... No, I won't say what I was going to say. She just had lots of bags, okay, and it was really odd. It wasn't like everyone else had suitcases or briefcases, and she got on with these old bags and they were stuffed full of things and she couldn't manage. So one guy put them up, onto the shelf for her, and she said, oh, thank you. She said, I've just been clearing my father-in-law's house and these are the last of his possessions. And this is all that's left. And I thought, oh, okay. And then another person got on, and it was a younger girl than me, and she was going up to see her father, who was very ill. And, just things like that. And you think, these people are going through the exact same energy that you are. And I'm really feeling that. And it isn't just to do with loss and grief, of course. It could be to do with something really happy, like a love affair, and you see lots of other people in love or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, I just wanted to say that. Right. And that goes back to this cathedral quartz. Spirit will, because it was about receiving, because actually that helped me on my journey to feel less alone, I suppose. Okay, one has just flipped out. Interesting one to flip out as well. Lift the curse and forgive. Lifting the curse of war. I will say that I think the people that are leaving our planet right now, of which there are many, make peace with them before they go. Don't leave loose strands. You don't want to have to come back and repeat the karma. Say what needs to be said. Forgive what needs to be forgiven. See the soul contracts that have played out. Lift the curse and forgive. Sorry, guys, I'm just in a bit of a vulnerable place at the moment. Let's bring the white spray on. Feels like we need the white ray. These are tricky times, are they not? I've always been real with you, and I always will be. Pure white. Let's have a shot of light, shall we? God, God's sake. Let's have some light. Light in the darkness. Right, thank you. What is stopping you from forgiving? What is stopping you from forgiving? Oh, but they've done this, they've done that. They said this, they said that. Go higher. Go higher. Go higher. See the souls. See the contracts. See the majesty of life. See the eternity of life. See the soul group that you came from. See what you signed up to. But don't use the mind to go there. The mind will trap you in ego. He said this, they did that, she did that. No, go to your heart. Bring in the energy of forgiveness. Forgiveness is the key. Forgiveness is the leverage to the new. Let's read what this card says, guys. Of course, it also talks about lifting the curse of war, and we have the threat of war and war going on at the moment. So this maybe is just also about war, you know, war within ourselves, war with others, but also war. War. I'm not going to get political here. We all know what's going on, and if you don't, get off the sidelines and get into the reality of the times we're in. There are no real winners in war. Let your divine feminine aspect lead the way to conflict resolution. In the Irish myth, Macha was a fairy woman married to a foolish man. Because of his boasting about her abilities, she was forced to run a race against the king's horses while 9 months pregnant. She wins, collapses, and gives birth to twins. Before she dies, she curses the men of Ulster, saying that when they go into battle, the men would become as weak as a woman in labour. In the painting, she is not only lifting the original curse on the men of Ulster, but now also the curse of war from the world of man. The mound in the foreground is her ancestral home in County Armagh, with the Celtic ritual horns that were found close by. How interesting, I've never heard of that at all. But it's about lifting the curse of war. And, you know, I'm talking about new timelines here, aren't I? And the fact that we're in it, you know, but we don't know what to do with it. And it's as though the old warmongers of old still want the war to play out. We have to believe and hope that the curse is lifting from our world, where war has to be an inevitability. And every generation will experience it, and it's only going to get worse. So I think that's actually a very positive card to have. Okay, right, 2 more decks. Let's pull one card from this. This is Sacred Earth Oracle by Tony Carmine Salerno. Do you like my new mug? I got myself a lilac mug, a violet mug. Cute, isn't it? I've also got a lovely wax melt burning, which is gingerbread. It smells gorgeous. Okay, one more card for the people watching, please. Let's just sink into that place of softness, where everything is formed. Nothing is formed from a hard, brittle place of I'm right, you're wrong, of intransiency, of narrow-mindedness, of hard-heartedness. Creation comes from a place of softness. Has to be soft for something to form. And of course, we've got the divine feminine energy here, formation. Also, keep our thoughts as fluid and flowing as possible. Perspective. She's looking at the world from her perspective. He's looking at the world from his perspective. And each side thinks that they're right because they can't see the side that the other person's looking at from. Everything is perspective. What's that expression? We don't see the world as it is. We see the world as we are. And that's the truth. So in this time of co-creation with each other and with the divine, to keep us soft and fluid in our thinking, our thoughts, our attitudes, the worst thing we can do is dig ourselves further and further into the trenches with regards to anything. This is a time where really we're embracing how little we know, that we know hardly anything. If you look out into the night sky and you look up at the stars, you realise how much we don't know. But the human ego likes to big ourselves up and build ourselves up. Don't you know this? Don't you know that? Usually it's just repeating what somebody else has said anyway. So keep soft, keep fluid, keep loving. Keep in this powerful space between two powerful opposites. Honouring the grief that is here of letting go of the old. Also looking back with love at what has been. But celebrating the rebirth that is here. I'm going to end on a couple of tarot cards. This is from the 5th tarot deck. Let's have 3 cards, please, to end with. Calling in Archangel Metatron. Yep, there you are. I always get this bloody card. And I've said many times, I don't like this card. I don't know why. Why am I triggered? I must have had a past life. Or it's probably a blood sacrifice or something on those bloody stones. But I always get this card. We've also got the card of enrichment. Maybe I was the one doing the sacrifice, exactly. I mean, it could have been anything. We've also got the 3 of Stones community. Oh, there's another one just dropped out. Okay, 1 of Lotus expansion. Right, well, this is rather nice. With the exception of this card, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but obviously, well, I'll go to this in a minute. We've got 1, 2, 3. Look, we've got 1, 2, 3. The 1 of Lotus, which is expansion. The 2 of Shells, which is enrichment. And the 3 of Stones, which is community. Yeah. But let's start with this card, the Initiator Feathers. Having said that, do I have the book to be able to read to you what it is? Yeah, I do. Ooh. Honestly, guys, I just can't move fast at the moment. Sorry. I don't know why I'm apologising. You're probably feeling the same. Or maybe you're not. Maybe you're zipping around like... If you are, that's great. I'm really pleased for you. I'm just not. Right, Initiator Feathers. What is this about? Why do I struggle with this one so much? All right, I've got it. The Initiator Feathers takes the form of a feathered serpent from Mayan cosmology. Above the head of this feathered serpent is the constellation of the Pleiades. You see, I have a problem with the Pleiades as well, actually. I know it sounds ridiculous. It's just it's the galactic energy that I feel furthest from. I know many of you love the Pleiadian energy. I don't know. It must be a past life thing. Anyway, what else is this? This is, below him stands the main temple at the sacred site of Chichen Itza. It's the temple dedicated to something that I can't pronounce, the personification of Christ consciousness, bringing the energy of transformation and rebirth to the initiate. Right. It says, in ancient times, the peace that once inhabited the land here was lost through aggressive acts of conquering and subjugation. Many people today share an intent to clear these types of negative energies at sacred sites around the world. And in the years since, when we have visited there, the energy has definitely changed for the better. For the Initiator Feathers, the essence of this serpent is an enormous gift, one of cleansing of the ego and our surroundings. It's a necessary process for the initiate on his quest for greater knowledge and wisdom. The image depicts the head of a man emerging from the mouth of the feathered serpent. The head symbolises the ego. The fire is a symbol of transformation. In the suit of the element air, the feathers represent the enlightened mind. After shedding the skin, the Initiator Feathers enters into the Christ consciousness and receives the wisdom of the cosmos. You see, nothing to fear in this card. Actually, a very beautiful card. And actually, it's a very good illustration of what I've been trying to say this video, which is that I hadn't read the book that was in front of me. I hadn't bothered to really look at what the meaning of this was. So I'd had a knee-jerk reaction to it, which might also have had a reasoning for me personally linked into past lives. But actually, when you read the book, you think, well, what's the matter with that? This all sounds very good. It says, you are on the path of the initiate, following the 7 stars of the Pleiades. Now is a time of tremendous transformation on the planet, and for you as well. Yeah, so I mean, there's more, but there's pages of the stuff, so I'm not going to read it all out. But effectively, it's a card of initiation, followed by 1, 2, 3. What do we learn first in school? The alphabet, ABC, 1, 2, 3. Got Julie Andrews, do, re, mi, and all of that. It's as easy as do, re, mi. But the problem at the moment is that, right, okay, this is the analogy I'm being given by Metatron. This is a really good one. This is where the collective is. Go back to being at school and go back to being in infant school or junior school, the school before high school, the senior school, yeah? So when you're in infant school or junior school, you then get to be the oldest in your school. And you feel cock of the hoop, it's like, oh, look at all these little ones coming in on year 1, and I'm the oldest in the school. I'm the one that's it's ego, it's all ego. There's definitely a bit of an energy of that. And then you go to senior school, and all of a sudden you are the youngest in the school. You don't know anything. You don't even know how to find your classroom. You have to start at the very beginning. I love that song. Let's start at the very beginning. A very good place to start. Julie Andrews. Yeah, it's that song. We're starting at the very beginning, and we have to have the energy of humbleness and like childlike wonder. We have to let go of the adult ego energy, which has been maybe ruling the roost in our world and maybe in our own individual lives. If you look around the spiritual community, so much spiritual arrogance in terms of I know and you don't. Yeah. We can't go through the eye of the needle with that energy. Okay, what was that energy of softness in formation? Everybody has a different perspective. Everybody has a different truth. Everyone's on a different timeline, maybe linked into whatever they're meant to experience in this lifetime. So 1, 2, 3, expansion, enrichment, and where does that lead? It leads to community. What are we moving into? Pluto in Aquarius. Aquarius is all about community. Right, I think I will leave it there for today, and I will be back soon. I hope you're all well. Take great care. Lots of love, everybody. Thank you for your support. Give me a like if you've enjoyed the video. It's been nice spending time with you. Bye-bye for now. Bye. Back very soon. Bye.